Hello, thank you very much for joining me. I'm Amanda Fowler of Inspiring Inkin, and in today's video we're going to be making this Christmas card using a product called Heat and Stick. It's really straightforward to use. I'm really excited to share it with you. So let's get started. First up, I am using the Wonderland stamp set. This is a new stamp set in the Autumn-Winter 2015 catalogue. It's got these beautiful trees that we're going to be using. I have Early Espresso and Mossy Meadow ink. I've got some Whisper White cardstock, and also I'm using the thick Whisper White for a card blank. So that's what I'm using there, and that's it pretty much, apart from the magic Heat and Stick powder and Dazzling diamonds. So let's do the stamping first. I'm using the Mossy Meadow ink, and what I'm going to do is really ink it up well and stamp it down onto the middle of this piece of Whisper White, like so. And then without inking it again, I'm just going to move it so the tree line is a little bit lower, and I'm just going to stamp it on the side. So that's sort of the second generation ink, and then I'm going to do it again on this third side. Then I'm going to re-ink it and put a little bit along each side just to give a little bit of added interest, and we can put that to one side. Then I have a piece of Whisper White. This is 3/4 of an inch. It's about a 6-inch piece, and I'm going to use the Silent Night stamp and the Early Espresso ink. I'm just going to stamp that there. Brilliant. Okay, so you can see from this original card that I've actually stamped it there, and I want to make a banner end here. Now you can just cut it down, cut it to the centre and make the sort of banner ends. But I'm actually going to use the banner punch. I just want to show you how I can use that. This is actually designed to start at 1 inch, 1.5 and 2 inch pieces. But this is only 3/4 of an inch. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to feed it through, and then I'm hoping that you'll be able to see that. I'm going to lift it up above the cutting mechanism until I can actually see the S from Silent Night. Then I'm actually going to feed it back in so it's in there. Make sure it's centered, and then punch it. And then that gives me sort of the reverse banner. So that's that piece. Okay, so that is nearly all the stamping done. I haven't stamped on the inside of the card. That's really important. So let me just get that. I always like to decorate the inside of my cards and the outside of envelopes. It's Amanda rule. Anyone who comes to my classes knows this. You cannot send naked envelopes. You must stamp on them or decorate them, emboss them, make them look lovely. So when they drop through somebody's letterbox, they know it's going to be Happy Post. It's going to be something that somebody has made just for them. So start stamping on your envelopes and stamp on the inside of your cards. So there we go. So there we've got some trees on the inside. Now we're going to take this piece of plain card and make it bling like this. What we need for that is Versamark ink. Now Versamark ink is fabulous. Stampin' Up sell Versamark ink. We don't actually have an embossing ink of our own, and that basically is because this one's the best on the market. It's fantastic. For heat embossing, it's also really good for giving a watermarked type effect on cardstock, and I'll show you that in a different video. but we're going to be using it to stick or put the heat and stick powder onto this cardstock. Now, Versamark starts out life like this. This is beautiful, pristine, barely used. After a few days or a few weeks, it starts looking like this. Now, it doesn't actually matter that it gets a little bit stained and coloured. It tends to pick up ink and dust from everywhere, even though you keep the lid on. What I would say is just be careful with it. If you think you've got any ink on it, you can't really use it for this technique. You need a cleanish one. Okay, so hence I've got my new one out. So all you're going to do is take the Versamark and press it all over your piece of cardstock. And because it's clear ink, it's actually really difficult to see, and it's probably impossible for you to see on the camera. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tilt it to the light and just go over any areas that I might have missed. Okay, that's looking good. Now, heat and stick powder. This is actually a powder glue that becomes activated when you heat it. It's quite granular. It looks a bit like granulated sugar actually. It's quite grainy. It's not like an embossing powder, like a Stampin' Up embossing powder that's really fine. It's a bit gritty. And what we're going to do is cover the whole thing with heat and stick powder. And the heat and stick powder will only sort of stick where it needs to. There's no danger of you sort of overusing it or anything like that. So tap off the excess. Now hopefully you'll be able to see it sort of gives you this sort of opaqueness to the card. Now I'm going to get my silicone mat in and pop this down, and a pair of scissors to help pin it down. Now I'm going to talk to you about the heat gun before I actually use the heat gun, because then I won't have to shout over the top of it. Heat embossing or melting the heat and stick powder, which is what we're doing at the moment, there are a few things for you to know. Firstly, keep the heat gun sort of going straight down onto your project, 2 to 3 inches above the paper. If you go too close, you'll scorch your paper, maybe set it on fire. Too high up and you'll be there forever. When you are embossing or melting the heat and stick powder, don't waft it around like you're doing your hair. It's not a hairdryer. You need to hold it steady and melt the powder going up and down as you go along. Now, the heat and stick powder melts really, really quickly, much faster than embossing powder. And if you overheat it, it won't be sticky. So go gently with it, and you'll see as I'm heating it now, you'll actually be able to see how fast it goes. Okay. Yeah, really, it's that quick. So you'll be able to see, so it was opaque and now it's got a slight shine to it. And actually, if you do end up sticking your finger on it, you'll find that it's tacky and sticky. Okay, I'm going to get the dazzling diamonds out now. Look at that bling, isn't it amazing? Okay. You've already seen my heat and stick powder. I keep all of my powders, all my embossing powders and my glitters and things in these bigger tubs, so I can basically dip the card in, and it just means it's easier to get lots on quicker. So I'm just going to cover the whole thing with Dazzling Diamonds, just to give it a quick, just to quickly show you. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a quick blast with the heat gun. This is just to re-soften the glue a little bit and make sure it really holds tight, that glitter. And that is pretty much it. So all I'm going to do is get my card blank and my Tombow. Stick this one to the front. Then get some dimensionals for my Silent Night. And that's it. And there you go. Card's all finished. I told you it was quick. So heat and stick powder, as I said, is fabulous. And this technique works really well where you've covered the whole of a stamped image. You can also do the same to patterned paper. So if you've ever had a designer series paper, patterned paper that you really liked and thought, oh, that'd be really nice if they did a glittered version. Well, you can do exactly the same with the Versamark and the heat and stick and the Dazzling Diamonds. And the pattern will show through, as you can see here. You can also use it on different items. So for instance, at the moment we have these lovely laser cut wooden snowflakes, and they're in the autumn winter catalogue. If you press one of those into the Versamark, now go steady with it because they're laser cut, they're really fragile, so you don't want to press too hard and actually break them, break the legs on them. And then you just pop it in to the heat and stick powder. I'll bring that silicone mat in. Oh, okay, so hold it down. Super speedy there. And then just pop it into the Dazzling Diamonds, and there you go. I'll give it another quick blast actually. So you have a fully blinged up snowflake. You can see actually I've used it on this card here, and I've actually basically frosted the snowflake with the heat and stick and the Dazzling Diamonds. But you can actually stamp with it as well. So if you've got a stamp that you want to have a glittered effect on, you can stamp in Versamark, put the heat and stick on it and melt it just as I've shown you, and then put the Dazzling Diamonds on. It makes a fantastic effect. I hope you've enjoyed today's project of making this card. Do leave me comments below. I answer all of them. I have a blog which is www.inspiringinkin.com. I'd love if you went and visited me there. You can leave me comments there and you'll see lots of other tutorials and inspiration. You can also find me on Facebook and Pinterest under Inspiring Inkin. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.